guys, it's Tamara from shelfaddiction.com, and I'm here today to discuss the audiobook This Side of the Grave by Jeaniene Frost. It is the 5th book in the Huntress series. And before I get started, I must say I need to apologize because it's been a long time since I read this book. I intended on doing reviews, video reviews, as I finished each book in this series. But it's been a long while since I actually finished the book, so I made tons of notes, which I'll be referring to during my review because this story, it just is not fresh in my mind anymore. And I have to do better about recording things immediately and not waiting because this is going to be kind of painful. I feel like I'm going to do the review because I promised I have to do this book and the next book, and then there's going to be a long gap because there's the 7th book won't be out I think until 2014, and so the next review, book 6, might be a little painful too because I finished that one as well a little ways back. So anyway, that out of the way, let's soldier on. And we'll start with my overall impressions. Actually, you know what? This was a really good installment. I really liked it. One of the main things that I liked about this book is it wasn't all cat and bones all day, every day, you know. It's like it alternates. The author goes back and forth. Like one book will be like relationship driven sort of, and then the next won't be. And then, you know, they get with their team and their friends and, you know, they save the day in another way. So I kind of like that they're veering away from the relationship problems because, you know, in the last book it seems like, you know, everything was tied up real nice. They're together, they're happy. So now they're focusing on something else and, you know, all the other issues are left by the wayside, which is a good thing actually. Of course, we get our usual suspects. In addition to Cat and Bones, there's Mankieri's Vlad. You know, we all love Vlad. He has to be there. Let's see. The Ghost and Tate. He's around. Oh, and you know what? If you haven't read the description of this book, let me just backtrack 2 seconds. This whole book is like Cat and Bones and the gang trying to take down Apollyon. I don't know which way you pronounce it. Basically, he's trying to start a war between the vamps and the ghouls. He is a ghoul, and he is using Cat as a scapegoat. This whole time he is trying to tell his ghoul followers that Cat is trying to become a ghoul. In essence, she is not, but he is trying to get them to believe this so that a war will break out and he can get what he wants, which is basically the ultimate power of vampires and ghouls, which is a little unrealistic, but I guess he's got to aim for something. But anyway, along this trip to across the country, they end up in New Orleans, which Bones has a house there, and we get to meet a few more characters. There is this woman, Marie, who is a voodoo queen. She is something else, let me tell you. She is like, I think I mentioned her in the last review. She was, yeah, I think I did mention her. She's from book 4, but she's back again, you know, wreaking havoc as usual. But, you know, she's kind of on their side. Like, she's on their side, but, like, in a passive way. Like, she wants to maintain her relationship with the ghouls because she's a voodoo queen. And she is, you know, I guess the queen of the ghouls or whatever. But at that same time, she wants to almost do the right thing. So, she's an interesting one to watch. Let's see. Of course, Mankieri's and Vlad are always there helping them out because, you know, Vlad is basically Cat's male bestie. And, you know, actually, I think her friend Denise, yes, her friend Denise is in this book. And you know what is funny? I know that I recall thinking that when Denise showed up in this book, she was a shape changer. I felt like I missed something. Where in this series did Denise change into a shapeshifter or a changer? I'm like, okay, last book she was human. This book she's not. So I'm like, what in the world? So I went and did a little research, and apparently there's a spin-off called the Huntress World series, which we get to find out exactly what happened to Denise, and you know how she hooked up with Spade and all this other stuff. And I went off and I ended up reading that too. But I don't know if I'm going to do a video review on that. I might just do a written review on my website, so you'll have to check it out when I finally get around to posting it, which is, gosh, I don't know, maybe sometime this month, hopefully sometime this month. But if you get lost like I do, just understand there is another book that you can read where you can figure out what in the heck happened between book 4 and book 5, so you don't feel like you're lost. Getting back to the book, I mean, there were a lot of things that I enjoyed. I also like that we got to see Kira. She's like, she's new to the mix. She's with Mancaries, and she's another one of those girls that are in the Night Huntress World series. I think she's the book 2 person. I haven't read that book yet, but because, you know, she just sort of shows up married to Mancaries, and you're kind of like, what's going on here? But, you know, that will explain things. So, of course, in the end, everything is wrapped up in a nice little tight bow, per usual, with a few little loose ends for us to wonder what happens, you know, in the next book. And I do really appreciate how the narrator, I think her name is Tavia Gilbert. I should have this memorized by now. I've listened to so many of these audiobooks. But anyway, Tavia Gilbert, I love how she's been able to keep the integrity with each and every single book. It's like she knows these characters in and out. She knows their voices, their moods, I mean, she is spot on while narrating this book. It is crazy. It's so good. And it's like, it's really easy listening to. I can listen to this at work while doing other things. I can listen to this on my drive home, you know, on my drive into work. It's really easy listening, and it's exciting. You feel the excitement when you're supposed to. You feel a little sad when you're supposed to. I mean, she really does a good job. So, you know, if you haven't delved into audiobooks, start with this series. So, trust me, you won't be disappointed. So, along with the awesome, talented writing skills of the author, Jeaniene Frost, and then we have this awesome narrator, Tavia Gilbert, it's like a recipe for a perfect book. Seriously, like this book I rate 5 bookmarks. There's just nothing bad about the book. Nothing. There's, other than that slight feeling of being lost with what happened to Denise. How did she turn into a shapeshifter? Outside of that, I have no complaints. Zero. And I recommend this series, and I'll keep reading it. Obviously, I finished book 6. I'm now waiting on book 7. And I recommend it. So, do you like this series? Have you read it? Are you as far as I am? Are you going to keep reading this series? Are you sick of Cat and Bones yet? I know I'm not. So, I'm curious to see what you guys think. So yeah, that's that for that. So, I'll see you guys next time. And until then, as always, happy reading, and I'll see you then.